What's going on, everybody? Wilson here, your spiritual hype man. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It is real time. Well, I guess what is real time, right? But real time as far as where we're at right now. It is the morning. Just woke up a little bit a while ago. Did a little meditation with Patty. It's funny. That's kind of what our routine has become. Is before we get up, before we jump out of bed, we ensure that we do some sort of meditation. Recently, for the most part, I've personally been doing the Joe Dispenza like body healing one. It's about 15, 16 minutes. Once you get in it, like I've enjoyed it very much. I've enjoyed it very much as far as just being able to like fully be immersed with the body and I've done some healing, and Patty and I both. Patty's got her routine as well. She's got like two that she listens back to back. Both are Joe Dispensas. Again, if you haven't heard of him, I would suggest it. Like he's had a crazy story at some point. Shout out to Joe. We can get Joe on the show. That would be great. I can definitely, if you guys want him, like let's tag him. Let's blow him up on his social or something. And tag NCUID or Nothing Changes Until You Do. Tell him to get on the show because we want to hear a story. Really good story on him, but this episode is not about him. This episode is, I want to talk about a couple of things that have been on my mind, and then most recently, yesterday, I had a soccer game where I think it's a two situational perspective thing that I want to get to. But before that, let's just remember, if you're not having a good day, just remember it's the thoughts in our head, and we got to learn how to just change these prompts. Some days are definitely easier than others. These last couple of days have been probably a little bit harder in regards to just the mindset and the fuckery of what it is in playing the mind game with your own self. So I'd love to share that with you and then give you some perspective as far as what I feel like we can take away from these things. So what happened yesterday? Okay, so basically yesterday I played soccer, right? It's a somewhat of a competitive league. And I was feeling fine. I was feeling good, actually. I was feeling like in the zone. The last couple of days I've been touching the ball really well. And even at Sunday, the Sunday pickup game that I usually go to, one of the guys that I call Profe, which would be the professor, old, not, I don't want to say old, wise, definitely a wiser gentleman who's played and has some skill for still at his age and, keeping up with his knees. Like he's able to touch the ball and just like still pass the ball, even when, you got two or three people on you. He's really, really good as far as his skill and I would assume his just legacy of how many years he's played. He actually came up to me at the end of the game and had mentioned, he's like, "Hey Wilson, I just want to let you know, like he gave me appreciation for the work that I've done and then the progress that I've done in terms of playing soccer." He said, "Really just want to let you know that you've gotten a lot better in your game. Like you're making a lot better decisions, just the way you're moving with the ball." He's like, "You've always had the athleticism, always had the ability to run and have some body on the ball and stuff like that." But he's like, just that skill has improved tremendously. And for me, it's funny because like for me, even though I appreciate and I that's my Patty says my love language. I appreciate when certain things like that, when people say those things to me. I also found myself in that same moment, even though like it took me a second to actually, because I came from soccer, like we're playing the game, and sometimes I feel like when I do get appreciated or when I do get the roses as we say or as we will, I feel like sometimes I downplay it, right? Like I take on the whole, I don't know if it's I'm correct here, the holy martyr thing where it's like, "Oh yeah, thanks, no worries, like we're all good," like I don't bask in it for some reason. And even though that's what I'm searching for most of the time, is like I'm searching for that appreciation or that acceptance from people. And again, I'm working on it, right? I'm working on this thing, and I'm identifying these moments and these situations throughout life. So, in the moment, I took myself and I was like, you know what, Wilson, just fucking be here for a second. Listen to this, fucking guy and I have total respect for him. He's coming up to you, and in that moment, I was like, you know what, I'm going to soak this in and really take in what he's saying and really appreciate the credit that he's given me. And so I did, and it felt wonderful. It was amazing, and like taking that in and just giving people the ability, like not necessarily turning it down as like, oh, I don't want to be praised, or I don't want to, but really turning around and understanding that like there's a profound thing that's happening right now. And take it for what it's worth, right? So I did. I felt great. Sunday was awesome. It gave me a positive pump. And then yesterday, not the same person, different teams, not pick up competitive. But I do play with the gentleman every so often, on the team. But it comes to a point where every time, like, I go to do something, like I go to, make a decision, like make a play-making decision on the field, it becomes like, he becomes almost like, and this is why I gave him the example. He becomes almost like a fucking parent. And I'm like, man, I was like, look, stop telling me, like, just stop. Like, and it was getting to me, right? It was getting to me. So, and here's the first or two plays, like I touched the ball, I did fine. I may have been just a little more relaxed on the ball. But again, I'm the type of player that if I make a mistake or I lose the fucking ball, like you're going to see me, right? You're not going to see me like 30 yards behind the play. You're going to see me back on the play trying to recover the ball or trying to make a stop. That's just the type of player that I am. So the first couple of touches, like, they were fine. Like, there was nothing bad that happened. But then, I got the ball, and then I moved with the ball. I moved up with the ball, and I can hear him say, "Hey, don't," or "No, Wilson," is basically his fucking line. It's "No, Wilson," right? But I ended up making like a phenomenal dime pass. Like I got it through the midfield to the striker. Striker made a wonderful touch and scored on it. So it was a beautiful assist, seeing the game happen or seeing the play happen. And it's almost like being the quarterback. It's like seeing the play before it happens and throwing the ball where it's supposed to be, except you're using your foot, right? So like, for those that don't play soccer and can relate to it in football or anything like that. And so I was pumped. And then, but my first reaction to him was like, you see, like, just let me play because I know what I'm doing. Like, I have it, right? Like, and I should have just been like, you can talk to the professor, el profe, because he's seen it and he's fucking been playing longer than you. You know what I mean? So like, and it's funny because I didn't make that connection until just now. Like, I didn't make that connection. I should have made that connection yesterday in the game that, like, someone who's got more experience, that's been doing it longer, has, like, said that to you versus allowing someone like your own teammate to fucking just eat away at you to then affect your game. And so this is what happened. And it became more and more after, like, it just became more of the same. No, Wilson. Like, and I just, like, that to me, I already know as the individual and the player that is not the way you talk to me. Like, that's not the way you talk to me if you want me to do something. And so that it just totally worked against me. And then I started really, like, second questioning my position. I started second questioning, just the plays. Do I touch the ball? Do I give it? Like, it like took me from my ability or to play, or where I'm at in soccer to play, or how I want to play my style of game, to like constrict me. And then I started second questioning my plays, which then led to, like, softer touches, which led to interceptions, which led to, so like, I saw it happening. And so it was 1-0 thanks to my assist, until the very end of the first half. There's 2 halves that we play. And then they scored. And so throughout the whole first half, like, that was also in my head. And I decided to just say something at halftime because there was another player, and they're both Brazilian, I believe, so they speak Portuguese. And there was just a few times where, like, I somewhat understood the intention or how they were talking, and, like, as being directed towards me. And I do not like that. Like I am, if I have something to say, I'm going to either say it to you or I'm just going to not say it to, like I'm not going to fucking, say some shit to somebody else in like a different language and talk about them. Like that's not the type of person or personality that I have. Like that's just not me. I either don't say shit or I'm gonna say it, like one or the other. And so I said it. I said it at halftime, and I said, "Hey, look, if you guys want to speak Portuguese or different language and talk about me, you might as well just fucking tell me what you're thinking or what you're saying. But don't come at me and keep telling me what to do, or like just don't fucking have every fucking time keep telling me if there's something you want me to do or something I'm not doing correct, just fucking tell me, talk to me. But don't have a fucking secondary conversation in your native tongue talking about me and not do shit and just sit here and complain." And that's how I said it. Like I've become like I haven't become this way. I've always been this way. I've always like given the opportunity until like I've had enough, and then I fucking say it to you in a way that like is logical, makes sense, and like kind of cuts deep. And so I'm also working on trying to find the middle between those two, because here's what happened. After I said the shit that I said to him, then I felt the whole team morale change. Okay, and not for the better. I think it kind of got to me, and I referenced this with Patty. It was like Anna yelled at them, and Anna being my mom. Okay, so like it was like my mom yelling, and that's like to a certain extent, like I can understand why she would and why she did. And then on the other side, I also understand that it affected the morale, right? It affected the team. It affected the family, per se. And then we fucking lost 4-2. And then we lost 4-2. Up until the end, now was there another fucking goal being scored, right? Like just at the end, like right at the end, with I think like 2-3 minutes left, we finally got like a set piece and one of the players scored. But again, up until that point, the only fucking goal came from the person, me, that was being told not to do things, and I did it in my manner, and the fucking goal came from it. So like, that's the crazy part. And I think on a bigger macro picture, on a macro level, like I think that's what a lot of us go through, in terms of just there's certain things that we understand how to do things or what we're doing or not like learning into it, but there's a way that we do it that ultimately you see success, but yet you get tons of fucking people on the sidelines or your fucking partner or somebody else saying no or don't do it that way, XYZ. And again, it's like a fucking double paradigm, because I do the same thing with Patty. Like there's certain things that I speak about, and there's certain things that we discuss, and I'm like, hey, you shouldn't really be doing it this way. And so this would be a good example, a good reflective moment to really just figure out, like, how do I say it best to my teammate in a way that makes sense to them, so that way they don't feel underappreciated or they don't feel, fucking not good enough. Fill in the emotion or the sentence that means the most to you there. But I feel like that was the big aha moment. So here's what happened. So again, that's happening, right? We're losing. The team affected itself. I don't want to blame it on me, because it wasn't just me. Because again, like how much do you take? How much do you accept? How much do you quiet? Alexa off. Alexa off. How much do you allow that to affect, yourself? Like how much do you allow it to affect, right? So for me, could it have gone differently? Absolutely. Like, do I allow it and then at the end of the game or at the fucking like text message at the end of the game, do you then say that out versus expressing? I feel like I don't know if most people on the team, like the people on the team, to a certain extent, I believe were surprised, or maybe not at the level at where I was, like my heightened emotional level, because we're playing soccer, it's competitive, but I didn't hold back. And again, I felt like that definitely affected the team in some sort of way. But it's like, again, these are the perspectives. It's just, how do you correct that in the moment? Do you correct that in the moment? Was that the best way to do it? Because I did feel the change on the team after after I fucking said my shit. But like, how many times am I gonna have to fucking hear no Wilson until like I have to come over and have like a strategic fucking conversation, which I've had, by the way. I do want to say that. I do want to say that I've had the same conversation with this gentleman a couple of times, and I said, look, dude, this is not the way to fucking talk to me. Like, if you want to talk to me, I'm more receptive if you say to me in a positive way versus like the way that you've been saying it to me, X, Y, and Z. And so plenty of lessons to be learned, I think. Oh, and then lastly, I was on the sideline, and then another player on the sideline. He played first half. I don't know if it was indirect shots, talking to me directly about defensively and staying back or whatever the fuck it was. But he said some shit about not coming out or whatever, and not directly to me. And so, again, same thing. Already fired up. I said, "Look, dude, if you want to go in, call somebody out. Call me out. Did you call me out directly by name? No. I want to play, right? Like, you want to play, just call me out directly by name. I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue coming out. If I I've taken myself out of the games for two reasons. One, my fucking fitness wasn't good, and I know like I'd be negatively impacting the team if I stay in. Or two, I'm having a shit game and I'm negatively impacting the fucking team if I stay in. Like, I've done that and will continue to do that because I'm not like I'm very aware of my play and what's happening, not what was happening yesterday. And so that was at the end of the game because he was upset and he fucking started saying some shit. And I, again, whether it was to me directly or not directly, I took it as indirectly talking to me because that's what everyone else was fucking, well, not everyone else, but like the two other players. And so I just fucking said my shit again at the end of the game. And it's like, the one thought that crossed my mind though was like, I bet you these two players, at least these two players, are probably not going to want to play on the team again. And so I don't, and what could it be a good thing? Maybe, right? Because there's been times where those guys weren't around and we've played a pretty good fucking game with the people that are, that were there. Would I want that? Not necessarily. So part of me, like in the moment, like I was like, I did think about that. So that I considered that, and then a shout out to there's a couple people there that there's two new players that came on. They saw how I worked. The one striker that scored the goal that I gave him the fucking dime pass came on. He's like, dude, you played well. Thanks, man. So, it was just that. And then shout out to one of the homies that forever has always been positive. Like whenever things like that happen, he's always been like the teammate that goes, hey man, like it happens, everybody makes mistakes, or like, don't even worry about it, bro. Like you're good. Like just release the ball a little earlier is what he tells me. Right. Like that's how he talks to me. And I appreciate the way that he talks to me in that way. And he continues to be that person that like I confide in when things like that happen. So shout out to you, Will. Appreciate you. But yeah, so I think on, and I woke up with that, man. I woke up like that was the first thing. So one thing that I probably could have done differently was probably done some meditation at night. But I ended up coming back and I had this energy to just work on something for Patty and what we're doing on her side of the business. And so I just went in ham on that and used the energy. But I still fell asleep. Like I didn't do any like release meditation, which I probably should have done something like that. But this is right. This is what this is for, to share and provide, just provide some perspective, and at the same time provides me some fucking therapy to be able to get it out and reflect on it, and not look like a crazy because I'm talking to myself, at the checkout counter. And so for me, like big picture, macro picture here, I feel like perspective is big on. There's so many things. There's one, obviously, the perspective of like who you are as the player on the team. How do you speak to someone, or how do you get your point across if there is something that you want the other player to do to benefit the team, or to improve as the team, or to improve as a player? I think is super important. Oh, here's my and this is what I said to the one gentleman. I said, like, dude, it's just because I've seen, like, we've played together on pickup, and then his kid has been there. And a couple times I've seen where he does it similar to his kid, and his kid gets upset. And I think we've all seen that. And I've done that to my younger brother Jeff. Like when he played Pop Warner and I was coaching, like I would be the dad, right? The dad at the sports game, like ah. And then I've understood that that's definitely like I saw it firsthand with my brother Jeff. Like once the kid gets disengaged, when the dad becomes a tyrant and and does that. So and that's exactly what happened. So I gave him that example. I was like, dude, it's just like your fucking kid. It's the same example. If you're playing with your kid and you keep yelling at him, he's not gonna want to fucking work with you or play with you. And that's what's happening. So like, fucking chill out and talk to me in a way that like talk to me in the way. So that was it. Like I gave him perspective. Which again, my point is, I think there's plenty of perspective here. From the beginning of Profe, where he gave me some accolades. I think it's when you do get the accolades that most of us are searching for and looking for. Be in the moment, right? Like be present for that accolade and really take it in and appreciate it, because if someone's willing to do that, especially nowadays, I feel like more people were probably more prone to it before. And again, this is just me fucking hypothetical talking, but nowadays I think it's very hard for people to fucking say, "Hey, good job," or appreciate it. Again, just based on my own fucking perspective. Two, I would say, figure out a way, to communicate and vocalize the things that someone may be in need of or need to improve in a way that doesn't make you the dad at a Pop Warner game, fucking, disengaging his kid. I think that's a great example. And then three, I feel like for me on a personal level, probably just figure out, I'm still going to reflect, like I still need to reflect on in regards to like, was that the right action? Was that the way that I handled that? Was that correct? And then, I think, and there's a couple other things I want to talk about, but I'll just save that for another episode. I appreciate you guys for listening. We have hit 70 countries, 603 cities. So shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for the support and the listening. And I know that it's a vice versa thing, because I know like I know you're getting things from it, and I appreciate it. I'm getting things from it. So in a relationship, I believe this is a great relationship, and I appreciate you guys for doing that. If couple of asks, if you're listening, do me a favor and hit the follow on wherever you're listening, because that's going to push people. And I've seen it, man. It's again, the algorithm, but this is the algorithm for podcasts. And in the world of wanting to grow and wanting to progress, this is where I'm at. And this is what my ask is. Hit the follow button and then share one of your favorite. Now, you don't have to share publicly. You can maybe share directly to a friend, or if you want to share publicly, that would be amazing. That would mean the most to me. So that way people can continue to grow. On the other, and then my other ask is, for now, the way that we can continue to support the channel, sponsor an episode. It's $149. You get a badass shirt. I'm continuing to work on things on the back end, on top of everything else. But I would love for this to be the main source of what I'm doing, of where I'm going, talking with people, having conversations, inspiring others. And so, the only way that's going to happen is through the community, and that's my ask for you guys. Thanks again for listening. Keep crushing it. Don't forget, nothing changes until you do. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.